Hey everybody, it's your old pal Michael here. Welcome back to Michael Out on TV. We're going to be doing a running recap today, talking about the Impact Trail Run that I completed at Comstock High School. It was a really cold morning when I had here. It was about 40 degrees or so, probably about the start of race time. Ran, of course, at 8:30 in the morning, so it wasn't completely light out yet. Mostly light out so we could see, so that was fine. And so, being called an Impact Trail Run, this was completely run on a trail, made up of dirt, stones, and grass. So I decided today to wear my spikes for running. So that went very well. Didn't trip or fall. Almost did sprain my ankle a few times though. So I mean, running a cross country course, which this was, can be uneven ground, not totally flat. So I was used to that since I did cross country in high school. So we got there, and my family members, Kevin and Matt, were supposed to be there too, and I was wondering, well, where are they at? I mean, it's like 10 minutes before the start of the race. I don't see these guys yet. Are they showing up? I knew Kevin had a hamstring issue, so I didn't think he was running, and he didn't end up running, but I did see them about 10 minutes before the start of the race. So I was wondering where they were at, and then 10 minutes before the start of the race, they finally showed up. They were actually there. They were like walking the course in the woods was what was going on. So that's why we didn't see him until that time. So Matt ran, and I wore my Michigan gear today, haha, because they were playing Michigan State later in the day. So yeah, you're going to be seeing this video, and it's going to be about a week delay seeing it. So just want to let you know about that. So I got like my Under Armour on as well on the tops, and I got it on the legs. You can't see it on the legs, but I got Under Armour on the legs too. I was wearing hat and gloves during the race to keep warm because my hands get cold pretty fast. I don't usually tend to wear a hat during a run, but because it was so cold this morning, I decided, well, what the heck, I might as well. So got all stretched out, all warmed up before the race, and I was number 42 for the run. So that's probably like one of the lowest numbers I've actually ever had for a run was 42. I think I must have been like the 42nd person to sign up because when I went and picked up my gear the day before, they were saying, "Oh, I wish this was in alphabetical order." So usually, like the numbers are listed by alphabetical order, but I think this time it was listed by when you actually registered. So So yeah, because I was looking at the list yesterday when they were picking out my name, and I saw Kevin. I'm like, oh gosh, my name's not right next to him. And then when she said it's not in alphabetical order, I was like, oh well, that would explain it. Why my name wasn't next to Kevin's. I think he was like probably one of the first people to actually sign up for the run. So anyways, once we got started, we started out at right next to Comstock High School. We took a left immediately into the woods. He took a left, and then we went into the woods and took another left, and then we took like a quick right. And then at that point, we were on the trail the rest of the way. We did come out of the woods at one point over by Kalamazoo Community Church, and went back into the woods, came out again, and then went back into the woods to finish. But I'm not going to describe the course in that short of order, though. But there were definitely a lot of downhills, a lot of uphills on this course. Most of the course actually featured what the Kalamazoo Mud Run was run on. Not all of it was. Some of the, obviously some of this was additions to the course because we didn't start over at Kalamazoo Community Church like we did for the Mud Run. So it was different start, different finish area was what it was. I led about the first probably quarter mile of the race until I ended up getting past. I actually never saw the first place person finish. The second place person I kept an eye on most of the race, especially when we're in the open parts. Once you get like in the woods, you kind of like lose sight of them a little bit. And so we just were going up and down throughout the course. We definitely see the fences that you usually climb over during the mud run. Even the part where there's the log that you would run over, but because I was wearing spikes, obviously I wasn't going to run over the log, so I just ran up, down the pit, and then immediately back up. And I'm not too good with running a lot of downhills. I don't know what it is, but it's like I'm just like especially, you know, with it being really uneven ground, I think I was like afraid I was gonna like do like a face plant into the ground. So I kind of like slowed up, I guess, a little bit going down the downhills. The uphills, I just powered my way through those the best I could. I actually think I made up a little bit of ground before we actually ended up getting to the flat part again, where we were going. But there was definitely parts where you could see the other runners that were still coming behind you, because we'd be like right next to each other except on opposite sides of the tape. And there was a guy behind me that for the whole race that I could hear, and I was trying to make sure I was staying ahead of him. And then it turned out he was actually doing the 10K, but doesn't bother me. I didn't know that. I mean, even if I'd known that, I probably would have made sure he wasn't gonna like pass me. So I ended up, once we got out of the woods into the flat part, we ran alongside on the grass, where you usually would go down a slide and then have to run through like a huge long mud pit. And this was probably the flattest section of the whole course. So I was trying my best to make some ground on the second place runner. I just couldn't really do it. I mean, we were going about the same speed probably most of the time. That was probably definitely, like I said, the fastest section. Once we got back into the woods again, it was still flat at this point on that side. And usually this is the part where all the tires are going back and forth as well, so we're like running through there. And then actually at one point I almost thought I got lost, because the trail part that we're running on was like kind of mostly clean, and all of a sudden we're like on a part where I'm like running toward a log, and I'm like and it's not a clean part of the trail. I'm like, uh-oh, I think I just got us all lost. But thankfully I didn't, because I saw the second place runner where she was, and I immediately just corrected my course where I was going. And we had to hop over logs too. I forgot to mention that we were hopping over logs during this run as well. Once we came out of the woods for the second time, then we were running basically what we would have toward the finish for the Kalamazoo mud run. And then so we ran behind the church. Then we came back into the woods, and then we had another downhill and uphill section. And so we were just running through there. I'm looking at my watch and thinking, yeah, we're going to be there in like 4 minutes, because it was like at 16 minutes. And then I was like, no, this isn't happening. I should have realized with all the hills, the downhills and the uphills, my time was going to be a little bit slower today. Once we got onto the back part of the high school, there was a lot more hills, uphills, downhills there. In fact, there was one big uphill actually right before we got to the finish. We got to the top, and a lady's like, yeah, you're almost done now. Just go straight for the finish line. So we turned left and then right, and then the finish line was probably about like 50 meters in front of you. And I told myself for the kick to the finish, just pump your arms and then your legs will follow. Because I always try to just pump my legs, but you got to really pump your arms first, and then you'll get your legs going. So I did that, and I crossed the line. And this was totally an unofficial time. Unofficial race. So this won't really count toward my 5K total, because I'm getting close to 100 5K races that I've done. This isn't counting high school at all. I mean, I'm not counting those races. I'm counting like races I've done since high school, or even the couple of like races I actually did over the summer while I was in high school as well. Those races I count. I'm not counting the cross country races I did in high school. So right now we're probably just in the 90s. We'll hit number 100 next year, definitely. So this was an unofficial race, so it doesn't count toward that. What I'm counting is official 5K races that I've done. So unofficially, I was third overall in the race, and I ran a time of 23 flat. So it's definitely slower than what I ran the last time for the Portage Invitational run. But that's completely fine. I mean, I understood that this wasn't going to be a course where you were going to get a super fast time, especially with like lots of uphills, lots of, and then downhills that were pretty steep, and a lot of tight turns on as well. So it's a very fun race, running with Kevin and Matt and Don there, and my wife Kathleen was there, and then we saw I saw a bunch of other people I knew, like Gina and Sherry and Joel and Chris, and it was great seeing all of them. And after the race, you could have got a breakfast burrito. I didn't get one. I'm just not a burrito person in the morning. I didn't grab really any food. I just didn't feel like eating anything. You did get some Gatorade and water, but I mean that was it. So, and you just at the end of the race, everyone gets a little bracelet too. Very nice. I think they must be handmade as well, so they're very nicely made, and each runner was given one of those. So that will do it for this episode of the running recaps. Next time you see a running recap, I'll be running in the Western Michigan University Campus Classic. It's their homecoming race. That's also a tough course. Doesn't have as many hills. It has 2 giant hills actually to climb in this race. But I'm looking to probably beat my best time I've ever gotten there, which is in the 21s. I think it was like 21:16 is my best time I've ever got there. So hopefully I can top that. Hopefully I can break into the 20s in that race because I'm really going to be pushing it. It's not going to be as cold as what it was today. It's probably going to be around 50 degrees for that race if the weather forecast can hold up. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel for more content up in the corner. Follow me on Twitter. Post a link to that in the description below. Plus you will be if you follow me on Twitter, you will know when I post a video because I will put a link to that in my Twitter feed. So thank you everybody for watching. Once again, this is Michael Loudon over and out for the Impact Trail Run recap.